Let's lock in. Finally, I will give my predictions for the major fights tomorrow. And one of the benefits of Turkey Al Sheikh putting on these 50-50 cards is it's very hard to get every single fight right because they're just that close and you just never know. Someone ends up stepping up in a major way and shocking everyone. So, first things first, we're going to look at Buatsi Smith. Um, on paper, very close fight, 50-50 fight. Um, there was a time I would have picked Smith to beat Buatsi, but after the damage he took in the Canelo fight, in the fight with Artur Beterbiev, I just think that Buatsi's the fresher fighter. I think he's ascending while Smith is descending. And personally, I think Buatsi is underachieved and underperformed. People thought Buatsi would be a superstar by now, especially around the time when Anthony Yard had lost to Canelo and he had lost to Lyndon Arthur. I know a lot of people believe that Buatsi would be the man and run the light heavyweight division, but that is not what has happened. Um, Now he's facing Smith. I'm favoring Buatsi, but if you want to give it a percentage, it's like 55-45. I don't have that much faith. But one of the main reasons why I'm giving Buatsi the edge, and I know people are gonna laugh, is it's my understanding that Callum Smith is with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn's fighters tend to lose on these major cards. I've been pointing this out for the longest time. People called me an Eddie Hearn hater. It's nice to see y'all finally coming around and understanding. Uh, what I've been trying to tell y'all for the longest time. Moving on to the next fight, Jiliai Jang and Ajit Caballo. I remember when Chit Caballo used to be named as an opponent for Tyson Fury, and man, I used to crap on this dude. Like, yeah, he's man, Tyson's trying to cherry pick a dude, but nah, this guy's legit. He's for real. Great boxing skills, good foot movement, good stamina. He's no joke. And then you have Jang, who basically drops like everyone, but doesn't have the ability to finish due to stamina and also fluidity and speed. So the question is going to be, can Jang finish Caballero if he has him hurt? And the longer the fight goes, the more you have to favor Caballero. In Caballero's fights, I know he fought the Russian guy who everyone thought was going to be, who everyone thought was really intimidating based on the way he looked, and he dominated him. And then he beat Frank Sanchez, although Frank Sanchez's legs appeared to be gone in that fight. We've never really seen Caballero hurt. And what I'm going off of is Jang he really does hurt everyone he steps in the ring with. And Joseph Parker had to show tremendous grit and guts to survive Jang and actually pull off the victory. And the fact that Jang hurts everyone, and I've never seen Caballero hurt, that's the question mark. If Caballero can survive the storm, he'll win, but I don't think he will. So I think Jang's going to hurt Caballero, and I think that Caballero is going to get stopped. So I'll say like fourth round stoppage for Jang. Although, again, another very close fight because it really depends on if Jang can finish Caballero. And if he can't finish Caballero, then I think Caballero will win. But I think Jang's going to finish him. All right. So now we'll move to Ortiz Jr. versus Madrimov. This is a really great fight. Madrimov, to me, is very talented, still relatively inexperienced at the pro level. Virgil Ortiz has had more fights. Um, Virgil Ortiz was hurt and dropped in his last fight, but he was able to weather the storm. Although a lot of people feel like he should have lost. I scored the fight for Ortiz, but it was a close fight. In many close fights that can go either way, people tend to want to say robbery, say this, say that. But um, to me, this is the hardest fight to pick on the card, and I've struggled. Um, I've struggled with it. Madrimov gave Terrence Crawford a very tough fight, and a lot of people are going off of that as to why they think he will beat Virgil Ortiz. But I think Virgil Ortiz is a different type of fighter. I think he hits harder than Terrence Bud Crawford, and I think he's going to be more relentless than Terrence Bud Crawford. So I'm going to pick Virgil Ortiz, but again with these cards, is these fights are very, very close. And I don't want to hedge by keep saying like whatever, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I think Virgil Ortiz is going to win. Um, I think he's going to win. Um, I think it's possible he can stop him, but I'm going to say he's going to win a unanimous decision because I think Madrimov is going to be able to weather the storm and prevent the finish. So to this point, I got Buatsi. I think Buatsi will win a decision. I got Jang by stoppage, and I got Ortiz Jr. by unanimous decision. Now, Adames versus Shiraz. I think Adames is going to stop Shiraz. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Shiraz is a hype job. I don't think he's that good. If he beats Adames, then I'm going to be like, okay, I was wrong about this guy. But, to me, he struggled too much with Ammo Williams. I thought he should have, if he was like that, he should beat Ammo Williams easier. And I seen him have a tough time with someone else. And it's not that I think Adames is like the world's best, but I think Adames has been in there with better fighters than Shiraz. I think Shiraz, to me, this fight shouldn't be on before Ortiz Jr. versus Madrimov. And that's the way it's looking. I'm not sure the order, but yeah, I think Shiraz is a guy who they want to be successful because, he has star quality. But I think that this is one of those fights where we're going to see the quote unquote favorite lose. So I'm going Adames. Shakur Stevenson versus Padley. I think Shakur Stevenson is going to win. Padley is obviously a short-term opponent, a short notice opponent. But again, he's ranked in the top 15 with 3 of the major belt organizations. He's ranked higher than Floyd Schofield with the WBC, which is the title that Shakur Stevenson currently holds. It's US versus UK. So that makes it that adds some emphasis to the fight, some allure to the fight. And I think Shakur Stevenson is going to win. And I'm going to shock everyone. I think Shakur is going to stop Padley. I think Padley hasn't had the camp that he would need to go a full 12. So I think his reserves are going to start failing him. And I think Shakur is going to stop him around the 10th round. But I think the stoppage is going to be more due to fatigue than the punishment that Shakur Stevenson is putting on Padley. So I got Shakur Stevenson, 10th round stoppage. Joseph Parker versus Martin Bacoli. I thought Joseph Parker was going to beat Daniel Dubois. I'm on record as saying this. I'm on record as saying this like around the time this fight was announced. I thought Joseph Parker was going to beat Martin Bacoli. I mean, not Martin Bacoli, but I thought he was going to beat Daniel Dubois. Insert Martin Bacoli. My concern for Bacoli is he's been training to fight someone like F.A. Ajapa. And to be honest, I didn't think F.A. Ajapa stood a chance to beat Martin Bacoli. I think Bacoli will cook F.A. Ajapa. And I don't necessarily know if F.A. Ajapa gave Bacoli that fear factor to train with the intensity and the purpose he would have need to train to beat someone like Joseph Parker. And I think Joseph Parker trained with that fear factor for Daniel Dubois. I think Joseph Parker was training with the intensity to become 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. He was training to fight someone who's a devastating puncher. In his mind, I believe he's mentally prepared to have to walk through punishment in order to win the fight. Like that, he was preparing for that with Daniel Dubois. And I think what Martin Bacoli was preparing for was a coronation when he beat the, uncoordinated soccer player with a big right hand. I think that's what Martin Bacoli was preparing for. Now you're going to throw him in with a different type of beast in Joseph Parker. With all that being said, I think Martin Bacoli is equally as dangerous as Daniel Dubois, if not more dangerous than Daniel Dubois. But the the one key factor is I don't think that his conditioning is going to be where it needs to be to finish a Joseph Parker. Because I feel like even if he hurts Joseph Parker, you got to be able to finish a Joseph Parker. That's what Jang wasn't able to do. Bacoli and Jang, two very big punches, two dangerous punchers. But to me, Bacoli is a style that Parker has seen before. He's overcome before. So I'm going to give the edge to Parker. Um, I think Parker wins a decision. But I will say this though. Um, Bacoli, I've been becoming a Bacoli fan. So if Bacoli wins, I'm going to be very happy for Bacoli. But I just think the short notice, who he was training to fight versus who he's going to step in the ring with, I just think it's levels. And I think Parker has been in a more intense training camp. And the opponent who Bacoli's replacing is more similar to the opponent that Parker's replacing for Bacoli. So I just think that Parker's in a better situation in terms of the replacement. But Bacoli has the eraser and he could erase all this real quick. But I'm just going to pick Parker by unanimous decision. Now we get to the main event of the evening. Look, I picked Beterbiev of the first fight, and he won. I thought he won. Contrasting styles. Beterbiev goes forward. He looks to inflict pressure. Bivol is a slick boxer, lands clean punches. Doesn't necessarily, he's not as necessarily as active as Beterbiev, but when he does throw, he lands at a higher percentage. This is one of those fights where contrasting styles. I think Bivol did well in the earlier rounds, and I think that eventually, as he slowed down, Beterbiev was able to get to him more. There's going to be a question of can Bivol improve his conditioning, which I don't think that he had bad conditioning. I just think your conditioning cap is where it's at. For me, Bivol's going to have to take more risk in this fight, and he's going to have to stand his ground more because he can't afford to move around as much because that's going to lower the gas tank. That's going to dip into the gas tank, and he's going to fade again later. I think he has to stand his ground more. In some of the earlier rounds so he can reserve his energy. So if he can pull out the earlier rounds while reserving energy in his gas tank, he's going to be able to win the fight on the scorecards. However, if you're Artur Beterbiev, you understand that you got to start faster because he did have the advantage in the earlier rounds. And if you're Beterbiev, if you can get to him earlier, if you can hurt him earlier, maybe you can dip into those reserves and even stop him. And remember, Bivol is the only fighter to ever go the distance with Beterbiev. And I guarantee you Beterbiev wants to stop him so he can say he's stopped every fighter he's ever been in the ring with. So I think he's going to be motivated to stop Bivol. Again, another fight where I don't want to hedge and be like, oh, there's a percentage wise. I think these are two very skilled fighters. So although their first fight wasn't action packed, it was still a lot of jeopardy, a lot of strategic moves, and you knew with any exchange something bad can happen. So you were on your edge of the seat watching. I think this will be very similar, but I'm picking Artur Beterbiev to stop Dimitri Bivol in round 8. I think he's going to stop Dimitri Bivol. I think he's going to go to the body more. I think he's going to apply the pressure more. I think he's going to force Bivol to up his pace. So he's going to force Bivol to have to throw more punches than he wants to per round because he wants to gas him out earlier. And I think he learned in that 10th round, okay, if I can get this guy to up the pace, if I can get this guy to increase his work rate so that he dips into his reserves faster, then I can stop him. So that's what I think Beterbiev is going to do. I think he's going to be successful. I think he's going to stop Dimitri Bivol in 8 rounds. With that being said, again, these are two high-quality fighters. I wouldn't be surprised if Bivol wins in a masterclass in which he wins, a 117, like 111 type of fight. I wouldn't be surprised. So that's my prediction. You can let me know what you think. And of course, some people are going to get mad at my predictions. If you're mad at my predictions, let me know in the comment section. And then if you're right, you can come back and you can talk that talk. I don't get mad about it. I love the sport. I'm not always right. Just giving you my prediction. Yeah, so I got Buatsi decision, Jang stoppage, uh, Ortiz. I think he's going to win a decision. I got Adames stopping Shiraz. I got Shakur stopping Padley late, like in the 10th round. I have a unanimous decision victory for Joseph Parker, and I think that Beterbiev is going to stop Beterbiev-Bivol in the 8th round. Around there, I think he's going for the stoppage. He wants to be able to say he stopped every fighter that he's ever stepped in the ring against. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I appreciate you watching this video. Like, share, subscribe. Remember, if you can't watch every video, you can listen on the podcast available on all major streaming services. I'm out. Peace.